What if the only thing standing between you and your dream isn't failure, but the fear of what others will think? What if the true barrier is all in your head? What would your life look like if you let go of that fear? Liam had never asked himself that question, not until the night everything changed. He was a talented musician, but nobody knew it. Not his parents, not his friends, not even his closest confidants. Every night after work, he would pull out his old guitar from under the bed and play softly, pouring his soul into melodies that only the four walls of his tiny apartment ever heard. He wanted more than anything to share his music with the world, but every time he thought about performing, a storm of doubt raged in his mind. What if I mess up? People will laugh at me. I'll never be good enough. These weren't just thoughts. They were the echoes of voices he'd grown up hearing. His father used to say, "Music is just a hobby. Get a real job." So Liam had done what was expected. He went to college, got a degree in marketing, and took a corporate job that paid the bills but drained his spirit. But no matter how much he tried to ignore it, the music inside him refused to stay silent. It whispered to him in his dreams and vibrated in his fingertips every time he heard a song. The pull was undeniable, yet the fear of judgment held him captive. One particularly rough day at work, Liam found himself scrolling through social media. He stopped on a video of a street performer singing with such passion that it sent chills down his spine. The caption read, "Do what you love even if nobody's listening. The world needs your song." Liam stared at those words for what felt like forever. His chest tightened. What was he doing with his life? He wasn't living, he was existing, shackled by the fear of what people might say. What if I try and fail, he thought. But another question followed, louder and clearer. What if I never try at all? The next day, Liam did something he never thought he'd have the courage to do. He walked into a small cafe near his apartment and signed up for their open mic night. His hands trembled as he wrote his name, and doubt threatened to overwhelm him. But a tiny voice inside whispered, "This is your moment." When the night arrived, Liam almost didn't go. As he sat in the crowd, waiting for his turn, the same old fears crept in. What if I forget the lyrics? What if no one claps? What if I make a fool of myself? But then he looked around and realized something. No one else seemed perfect. The performers before him made mistakes, but the audience still clapped and cheered. Perfection wasn't the point. Authenticity was. Finally, his name was called. Heart pounding, Liam stepped onto the stage. His hands shook as he strummed the first chord. His voice cracked on the opening line. For a moment, he thought about running off the stage. But then he looked up and saw someone in the crowd smiling encouragingly. So he kept going. With every note, his confidence grew. By the end of the song, Liam wasn't just playing, he was pouring his heart out. When he finished, the room fell silent for a moment, and then the applause came. It wasn't just polite clapping, it was real, heartfelt applause. A stranger approached him after the show and said, "Your song moved me. I've been struggling with something, and your lyrics reminded me that it's okay to keep going." In that moment, Liam realized something profound. The opinions he had feared for so long weren't real barriers. They were illusions. The only thing standing between him and his dream had been his own fear. That night, Liam made a promise to himself. He would no longer live in the cage of others' expectations. He started performing at more open mic nights, sharing his music online, and even wrote his first album. Some people criticized him, but for the first time in his life, their words didn't matter. Liam often shared his story with others who felt stuck. "I spent years living for other people's approval," he would say, "but I've learned that freedom begins the moment you stop trying to please everyone else and start listening to your own heart." What about you? What dream have you been hiding? What passion have you buried because of fear? Liam's story is a reminder that the world doesn't need perfection. It needs your authenticity. The truth is, most people are too busy worrying about their own lives to judge yours. And even if they do, their opinions don't define your worth. Today, take the first step toward your dream. Sign up for that class, write that chapter, post that video. Even if your voice shakes, even if your hands tremble, do it anyway. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to begin. So what's stopping you? The stage is waiting. The world is waiting. Your dream is waiting for you to say yes.